I do want to know about this one because I saw one episode of this, and then you told me, but did you finish the episode? And then I realized I did not finish the episode. The Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the new series on Netflix that is retelling the story?
Yeah, so I don't want to get too heavy into spoilers because, like, you look at the marketing for this show, the new animated Netflix version of Scott Pilgrim, and it kind of looks like, oh, they are doing the comics or even the movie, but in an animated version and extending it. And that's cool. Like, this is a fun world. It's been adapted for several mediums, including video games now, and people are really passionate about it. I really enjoy it. I didn't mind rewatching it. And then you watch most of the first episode and it does feel like, yeah, they are redoing the movie, but kind of in a slightly different format. And it's enjoyable and fine, but without getting, again, too heavy into spoilers, it kind of becomes clear by the end of the first episode that they are going on a different path, and they're doing something that's going to kind of dive a bit deeper and switch the elements up a bit. And I thought it was really interesting, particularly if you are a fan of Scott Pilgrim, because it really explores a lot of the interesting nuances of the world that only get mentioned in brief. Like, for example, like there's the whole way that Scott ends up finding out about Ramona is like he has a dream that she's in, and she says that she took a sonic or like a super speed highway through his brain or something like that. And it's something that, because of the style of the movie and the comic book, it kind of can be just this sort of passing anecdote. But like, this is a show that will explore, like, well, what is that? And how is she using it? And who are all these interesting characters? And what do they do when we're not hanging out with Scott and them at the same time? So it goes a lot deeper into all these people than any of the previous Scott Pilgrim properties before it. And I think it ends up being kind of reinventing it in a really fun way. What I thought was kind of going to be just like a retread and just another iteration of a thing I'm very familiar with has found some kind of novel element to it. It's a little bit slower than I think like the action past quick cut Edgar Wright feeling than maybe some people will be expecting, especially given that it's anime. Like, it is layered with jokes, but it's also not. It's not like hyperactive.
But I noticed that with the animation that it was like, if you're reading the book, you're going at your own pace, but here it's like they got to fit in all the dialogue in one frame before they move on to like the next action.
Yeah, it's got this sort of like intentional pace to it too, but it I think it kind of ends up working. Like, you fall into a rhythm with it, and I don't know, I found it really enjoyable. Obviously, like, it's got all the same actors who are in the movie returning to be in the voice cast here, which is pretty exciting too. Like, it just getting to have, especially because a lot of them aren't particularly big parts of this. So you'll just get like a quick 2 lines of dialogue from Aubrey Plaza, and then she's gone from the episode. But yeah, nothing that I would complain about for sure.
I did notice one line early, which I don't think is from the comic or even the movie, that comes from Scott Pilgrim when he's talking to Ramona in that scene about watching something that's got the same voice actor in both properties.
Yes.
All right, so I might have to dive deep into it. I watched the first episode while working on stuff, and I was just like, okay, I'll save this for like December, see what take they took on it. But you're telling me it's almost like a director's cut fleshing out the world. So that actually
kind of, yeah.
All right.
I mean, look, if you're skeptical about it, give it that first episode, maybe give it a second episode, because the ending of the first episode is such like a definitive, like, we are not the Scott Pilgrim and are familiar with, that it kind of got me re-excited about the show. So I'm halfway through, really enjoying it. I'm probably going to binge the rest of it tonight.
Oh, nice. All right, sounds great. So recommendation from Zach on Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.